Willie D. Live.
Donald Trump, your president. Man, this dude is a trip, fam. He is a trip. Donald Trump called Somalis garbage. He called a whole nation of people garbage. Yeah. Why would he do such a thing? Well, he was hot, really, because he could not figure out a reasonable explanation as to why the U.S. government funds were misappropriated, in part to support Somalia-based terror group Al-Shabaab. So when he was questioned and pressed about it, he put all of the responsibility on the Black folks. Yeah, nobody else took any blame. I mean, like all of the money is like they just only misappropriated to the Black folks. The Black country is the only country that felt his wrath. Yeah, man, he talked really bad about him. And he also talked about Representative Ilhan Omar of Minnesota. Talked really, 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 really bad about her. I never heard a president speak so badly of a Congress member, a member of Congress, and their constituents. Yeah, fam. Yeah, he went in. Check it out.
To 30,000 people, mostly men, mostly soldiers, every month. 25,000 to 30,000 soldiers. It's impossible. That's half a stadium. Take a big football stadium. Take half of those people in a stadium, and they're wiped out. They're killed every month. It's crazy. That war is crazy. It would have never happened with me, and it didn't happen for 4 years.
And you just mentioned potential land strikes. Can you elaborate anything on that?
Yeah, I'll elaborate. If they come in through a certain country or any country, or if we think they're building mills for whether it's fentanyl or cocaine. I hear Colombia, the country of Colombia, is making cocaine. They have cocaine manufacturing plants, okay? And then they sell us their cocaine. We appreciate that very much. But yeah, anybody that's doing that and selling it into our country is subject to attack.
So not necessarily just Venezuela?
No, not just Venezuela, no. Venezuela's been very bad. Venezuela's been really bad in something else, probably worse than most, but a lot of other people do it too. They would send murderers into our country. They would empty their jails into our country. They sent people into our country that we don't want. They sent their drug dealers and their drug people into our country. They sent people from their mental.
I just want to say this really quickly, fam. He talks about Venezuela sending their worst, and Mexico sending their worst, and all these other countries sending their worst. Well, Europe sent their worst, and they never left. I just wanted to put that out there.
Institutions into our country, and we're getting them out. That was bad. That was real bad. And they also sent drugs. Yeah.
On Tim Walz, Mr. President, do you think he should resign over the fraud scandal in his state?
And who should?
Tim Walz, over the fraud scandal in his state.
Look, I think the man's a grossly incompetent man. I thought that from the day I watched J.D. destroy him in the debate. I was saying, who was more incompetent, that man or my man? I had a man and he had a man. They were both incompetent, and I had a man and a woman. I thought she was very incompetent too, but now she's leading the field, and I think she's leading the field for the nomination. Anyway, look, that's up to them. That's up to the Democrats. You know, the problem with them is they have really bad policy. And I'm not going to say what it is because I don't want them to change it necessarily. Because I want to run against it, whether it's not going to be me, it's going to be somebody that's going to probably sitting at this table. Could be a couple of people sitting at this table. Could be a couple of people running together sitting at this table, you know? But I want them to win because we've done a great job for this country, and I want that to be carried forward. And you know, I think we have a tremendous bench, really a tremendous bench. But no, I think that Walz is a grossly incompetent man. There's something wrong with him. Okay, there's something wrong with him. And when you look at what he's done with Somalia, which is barely a country, you know, they have no anything. They just run around killing each other. There's no structure. And when I see somebody like Ilhan Omar, who I don't know at all, but I always watch her for years. I've watched her complain about our Constitution, how she's being treated badly. Our Constitution, the United States of America, is a bad place. Hates everybody, hates Jewish people, hates everybody. And I think she's an incompetent person. She's a real terrible person. But when I watch what is happening in Minnesota, the land of 1,000 lakes, or however many lakes they have, they got a lot of lakes, but this beautiful place, and I see these people ripping it off, and now I'm understanding, and you're going to look at that, Scott, I hear they ripped off Somalians, ripped off that state for billions of dollars, billions, every year, billions of dollars, and they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks, and we don't want them in our country. I can say that about other countries, too. I can say it about other countries, too. We don't want them to hell. We have to rebuild our country. You know, our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it. We could go one way or the other, and we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country. Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing. You know, they came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain, and do nothing but bitch, we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it. Okay. Thank you very much, everybody.
Mr. President, has Maduro offered to leave?
So, so let's address this this tale of Somalians ripping off the state of Minnesota. Let's address that. Let's address that. So here's the truth, fam. This claim that Somalians ripped off Minnesota refers to a real large-scale fraud case known as the Feeding of Our Future scandal. See, this is why facts are important. You can't get caught up in just, little slick talking and stuff like talking points. Facts are important. Let me send this off right quick, fam. I gotta do this. Let's see. Okay. The claims that he claims that Somalians ripped off the state of Minnesota for billions of dollars in theft and that the entire community is to blame. But here are the key points regarding the fraud case and Trump's comments. The fraud case. Federal prosecutors uncovered a massive pandemic-era fraud scheme involving the nonprofit Feeding Our Future. The defendants were accused of creating falsified records to claim millions of dollars in federal funds intended to feed children during the COVID-19 pandemic, instead spending the money on personal luxuries. Amount involved. Prosecutors have estimated the total amount stolen to be around $300 million, not billions, as Trump claimed. The defendants, dozens of individuals, have been charged or convicted in connection with the scheme, including many people of Somali descent. However, the alleged ringleader of the nonprofit organization was a dun, 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 white woman named Amy Bach. Now, how is it possible that Trump he just kind of like he's kind of circumvented that fact. The ringleader was a white woman. Community condemnation. Local Somali community leaders and elected officials, including Representative Ilhan Omar and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey, have condemned the criminal actions of those involved, while also pushing back against collective blame and discriminatory rhetoric targeting the broader Somali community. I don't have to continue with this, fam, because this is a common narrative that people in this country uses anytime somebody Black is accused of anything wrong. Oftentimes, the main person or persons who are making the accusations are guilty of the exact same thing that they are accusing those Black people of. Here's what it is, fam. The main reason why they speak out the way that they speak out is because they be stealing and they don't want no competition. Boom! That's what it is, man. They be stealing and they don't want no competition. In their minds, they're the only ones can rig the system. They're the only ones can beat the system. They're the only ones should be able to take advantage of the system. So if somebody else does it, boom, they group them. Even if it's one person involved, they condemn the entire group. But when it's them, when it's one of them, it's always a one-off. It's a lone wolf. It's an isolated incident. There is no rush to judgment. There's nobody running into the room and trying to make up a law to make sure that they go after people that person and go hard on that person and people who look like that person. They're not doing none of that. It's business as usual. White dude go up in the school, kill 35 people, another 45 people, another 75 people. That's just one white dude that did a bunch of killing. They ain't finna change one law. They're not finna have some type of dragnet to go after all white dudes. They're not finna go after young white kids. They're not finna make their life harder at all. Though it's, oh well, it's boys will be boys. But let it be a little Black boy do something like that. And now they got to bring the hammer down. Ooh, man, those Black kids are out of control. They lock them up and throw away the key. They're just like the rest of them. He's just like the rest of them. Let's get them all. One Black person does something bad. Let's say a Black person harms somebody or whatever in the neighborhood, and they go into the entire neighborhood and wreak havoc on the entire neighborhood. They make everybody in the whole neighborhood's life a living hell. But when it's white, it's all right. They don't really do too much about nothing. Yeah, man, this double standard, man, it is extremely apparent. See, I bet you if they would have shot Trump a little of that money, I bet he wouldn't be putting them on the blast like that. I bet you if he would have got some of that money, I bet he'd been all right. Maybe he did get some of the money, but he didn't get as much as he wanted to get.